Welcome to the expanzPLATFORM How to Build an Application video. In this video, we step through the process necessary to create an application on expanzPLATFORM. Those steps include creating models, adding fields to those models, assigning activities, defining the process map, and creating messages. Let's get started. Open expanzSTUDIO from the Start menu, then select New Project. Enter a name for the project. We'll name this project Sales. Accept all defaults and click OK, and then save the project. To create a new model object, right-click on the design surface and select New Model Object. Our first model will be a customer model. Enter Customer as the name of the object. When creating a model, we can specify whether it should inherit from other models, whether the model persists to a database, and if so, the name of the database table to which the model object should persist. Select Next to accept the defaults, and then OK to create the object. The object is displayed on the design surface. Fields and methods that are inherited from the superclass model object appear, but are grayed out. To hide these inherited fields and methods, uncheck the checkbox. Right-click again on the design surface to create a sales order object to hold orders for the customer. In the inherited object dropdown, the customer object is now available for inheritance. In this instance, we won't inherit from anything. Accept all the defaults and select Next, and then OK. Let's add a sales order item object to hold the items of a sales order. We create the sales order item object in the same way we created the first two objects. Click Next, and then OK. We'll also add an item for sale object. Item for sale is an abstract model since we'll be selling both services and physical articles. We create the base item for sale object, and then we'll add two other inherited objects. Now we add a service object. Service will inherit from item for sale. We can choose to have the fields of the service object reside in the parent table or in a new table with a join to the parent. In this instance, we'll store the fields in the parent table. Select Persist Data to the parents table. And now let's add an article object. The article object will also inherit from item for sale, but for this object, the fields will reside in their own table. To do this, deselect the checkbox Persist Data to the parents table. A new table will be created in the database with a join back to item for sale. We're done creating the models for this project. To make the design surface more manageable, deselect all inherited members. Next, let's create relationships between the objects. When we hover over the sales order object, a small square appears along its edge. Drag that square to the customer object to create a relationship between them. A window appears in which we specify the name of the relationship. Name the relationship Client and leave the model object to which the relationship goes as customer. This relationship will be a reference relationship. The difference between reference relationship and aggregation relationship is that aggregation relationships are always returned in the context of the parent. In this case, the nature of the sales order item object satisfies this, since we wouldn't need to query sales order item without the context of its parent sales order object. Let's also make the customer relationship mandatory, because in this project, sales order must have a customer. Next, we create a relationship from sales order to sales order item, give it the name Lines, and specify the relationship type as aggregation. Sales order item objects have item for sale objects, and the relationship between them should be a reference relationship, since we can add items independently of sales order objects. We don't need to create relationships between services and articles, because each is inherited from item for sale.